Well, by golly, here we are at our very first official live hang on MarsX3D. And golly, I hope I have everything right. Nobody's home right now, is there? Nobody here. Dave's talking to himself, everybody. And that's okay. If nobody shows up, then I'll just, I'll go take a nap. How about that? Anyway, wait and see if anybody comes up tonight. And nobody is there. Yeah, well, not surprising. It's a Tuesday night. And Randall Tufts is on board. Randall, you are the very first one. Thanks for joining us. Hey, how's the microphone, Randall? Can you hear that okay? And is the music in the background too loud? And Eric, good evening, Eric. Great to have you joining us. So we got a grand total of two everybody. Okay, the sound is okay, Randall. Thank you very much for that feedback. I have some music going in the background. Is that too loud? It's supposed to be soft and subtle. Okay, well, I guess we're in good condition then. Golly, you wouldn't believe what I went through to get this working. It's been about 2 weeks of just pulling my hair out, and good. The music is just noticeable, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Just a little bit underneath. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. All the tweaking and all the messing with different settings, and it was all quite obtuse, and looking at hours and hours of YouTube videos and feeling like a complete putz because I couldn't seem to figure it out when the whole time it was my ISP, good old Verizon, slowing me down, dipping me in molasses, doing all that good stuff. So I'm switched over to a data feed, which has low latency. And you know what I did today, guys? I signed up for Starlink. It's not quite available in my area just yet, but it promises to be a super deal. And they've got 11,000. This is Elon Musk's Starlink. And, oh, I love bourbon. They've got some 11,000 satellites up at the moment and launching around 1,000 of them a month, if you can believe that. They must not be very big. They must be able to cram a whole bunch of them in every single shot that's going up. Whenever there's spare room, they say they stuff a few more Starlink satellites into the hold. So they eventually hope to have over 20,000 of the Starlink satellites in low orbit. Really great speeds, up and down, super low latency, which means speed, and promises to be great. And anything I can do to shuck Verizon off my back, hooray! And okay, and Jesus is my king. Hey, I like your name, buddy. And thank you for your compliment. There are a lot of things to see on Mars, and trust me, we haven't even scratched the surface. Well, we have, kind of. But, my gosh, my buddy Jim West, over at Mars, I can never remember the name of his Facebook page. Mars, a Civilization Lost, I think it is. What a great researcher that guy is. And, man, he found something this week that blew my socks off. I can't wait to do the 3D processing on it and show you guys next week. This thing will make your hair stand up. It's very, very cool. Wild turkey! Now, let me tell you a quick story. You know, I was a professional musician all my life. And the first time I went for a lesson at my teacher's house, who was widely recognized as the greatest tuba player of all time. I walked in the door. He handed me a 16-ounce glass filled with straight wild turkey and a couple ice cubes, and he said, "Drink that. We'll have a lesson." Well, I come to find out that he was a heavy investor in the Wild Turkey Distillery, and every 6 months they would send him a 1-gallon barrel of 20-year-old wild turkey in an oak line barrel. Oh my God, charred oak. And that stuff was unbelievable. And that's what I had. Bourbon. Of course, nowadays we have good old Knob Creek and Woodford Reserve. My oldest son likes that. And, I drink very rarely, actually. I used to be a heavy drinker back in the day. All the years of playing in big show bands and, to crowds every night and drinking like crazy on the breaks. But that's all in the past now. I drink every once, mostly in the summertime when I go up and enjoy Bar Harbor, Maine, and sit on that big old Victorian porch and sip a big old mug of Knob Creek, and oh, that's good living. That's good living. I'm at the age where that is permissible. And lesson learned. Jesus is my king. Lesson learned. I learned my lesson years ago on gin. I think I was 21 years old, and I overindulged in gin one night. And brothers, I had the worst hangover of my life. I thought I was going to die. I really did think I was going to die. And I haven't had one taste of gin in the last 50 years as a result. It really stunk. But back in the day when I was working at Rosie O'Grady's and doing 3-4 shows a night there, well, it gets hot. And my particular style of playing meant that I worked really, really hard. I was soaked at the end of each show. And so I developed a taste for 151 rum, and which is really potent stuff. I'd have a double on the rocks with fumes coming up off of it, and you could literally light it with a match. And I never got drunk, never got sloppy or maudlin, but I really liked the taste, and I found it really refreshing. And I drank at least 2 or 3 doubles of that every night for a long time. And other than a rash that won't go away, it hasn't hurt me one little bit. And tequila, Randall. Oh my Lord. Let me tell you a story about tequila. I used to work in Mexico for the government of Mexico, and learned about tequila down there. And what it is they have about 150 different brands of tequila, and they're closely guarded family recipes. And they think that this whole business with the worm and the worm dust is just, they laugh. And Jose Cuervo, that is the absolute worst tequila they make down there. It's a spite product. They send it to us because it's the worst they make. So I tried all different kinds of tequilas when I was in Mexico for a couple of years. And it comes in all colors and specific gravities and tastes. And I learned to like a brand called Herradura, which is a silver horseshoe. And man, is that good. And they drink it with sangrita, which is a mix of some different juices and lemon and stuff like that. It looks like a little shot glass filled with blood, and that's why it's called sangrita, little blood. And you drink that, and then you toss a shot of tequila, and that worked real good. It was really, really good. No way. Adam Allen says, I used to work at Rosie O'Grady's, Orlando, Florida. Oh, man. I opened the place in 1974, and I played off and on there. I played straight through for about 10 years, And then I played off and on, usually 3, 4, sometimes 5 nights a week until 1989. And when I got so busy with leading the band at MGM that I couldn't work nights anymore. But so let's see, that was Adam Allen. Adam, what did you do at Rosie O'Grady's? And you know, anybody who never experienced that, oh my gosh, that was a one-of-a-kind club. All of the clubs that Bob Snow built there were one-of-a-kind, unbelievable clubs filled with architectural antiques. And, oh my gosh, let's see. Hello, Planetary Protector. Thank you for showing up tonight. Very glad to see you. And Yeshua is my king says, strongest drink I ever had was either brandy or hot damn. Well, you know, I think you'll be forgiven for that. Alan, welcome aboard. He has his new channel, Mars, the Second Genesis. And by golly, he has a video up now that teaches you how to convert the planetary data images, the .img, I believe they are, and create pictures on them. And they're super high resolution. This is what super experts like
alert from Google Chrome.
Oh, shut
the
up,
wind on
Neil
Mars
Chrome.
must be an artist.
I wish I turned all that off in settings and it still does it. I hate Google Chrome, but you can't do a live broadcast without it. But Keith Laney, Neville Thompson, Neil Spence, they're all experts at processing those images. It's quite esoteric. So I look forward to doing a tutorial on that and maybe start doing my very own high-res images. And trust me, they're radically different from the garbage that they post on the NASA Caltech JPL servers. And so, hey Dave, you're live. Yeah, man. I've only missed 9 minutes. You didn't miss too much, Alan. I'm just rambling on, telling old stories like old people do. You know, think of myself sitting in my rocking period wicker chair from 1898 with all the flowers around me and the little wicker stool and my big glass of Knob Creek with a giant spherical ice cube in it, and rocking and just telling lies. But Alexa the Spy, yeah, that's what it is too, trust me. Just like Facebook and just like, what's that idiot cyber tart? Siri. I've given up on Siri. Every time I ask that sorry thing a question, it comes up with something out of left field. I don't know if any of you have had that experience. I know a lot of people have reported that Alexa will just start laughing spontaneously, an evil cackle, like a certain woman who ran for president years ago. But let's see, and Brian. Hi, Brian. Have you ever tried Isle of Hura malt whiskey? Superb, great show, by the way. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Brian. No, and I'll tell you why. I am not a Scotch drinker. Back when I was attending New England Conservatory of Music, this is a long time ago, I drank about a quart or a fifth of Kennedy Scotch, which you could get a fifth of it for $3.20. And I drank most of that every day. You see, all of my heroes in the low brass world were heavy drinkers, but they were super high functional, world-class, stellar musicians. And I, of course, as a young dude, I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be able to hold my liquor and keep pace with them and all that. So I made sure to practice every day. So, yeah, Alan, Mars, the Second Genesis, is from Scotland. Man, he has the greatest accent. I'm sure, Alan, that it sounds like us people over in the States here. I probably have an Iowa accent, and I don't even know what that sounds like to you, but a Scottish accent is very charming to our ears. Buddy, you could get away with murder over here if you were dating or whatever. I mean, girls just melt over a Scottish accent. I kind of get kind of gooey around the edges myself, but I don't want to go into that right now. But oh, the old alarm is going, even though I have my phone turned off. I'm going to go ahead and kill it. You know what that alarm was, if you could hear it? That was a reminder for me to take out the garbage. Oh my, all the things that we have to do to be a husband and a functional person in the world. But you know, this video coming up Friday morning, episode number 83, if you can believe that. I can hardly believe there have been that many. My gosh, we've looked at thousands of mostly really good anomalies in 3D since October last year. And number 83 is going to go up, God willing, Friday morning. And in there, I've started a new thing. I'll give you a heads up about it. And that is I'll throw a 3D context view of whichever anomaly I'm featuring. But then I'll mark all the other anomalies that I see in there. Not all of them, but maybe a half dozen or so in each one, and I mark them. I give you the link, and I don't care if you extract them and claim them for your own. I don't care at all. Go in there, and especially with the stereo cameras on there, the nav cams, the two has cams, front and rear, you get some really good stereo pairs, which you can process very easily and clean up and get some great stereo. And when and if anybody's interested in doing their own X3D, first of all, you have my site, MarsX3D, on Facebook, where you're welcome to post. You're also welcome to send them to me. There's no guarantee I'll use them, but if you learn X3D and you have a simple program called Stereo Photo Maker, words all run together. It's a free program, super intuitive, super easy to use. That's how I got started. And you can do your own stereo pictures, easy peasy, not a problem. And it's so easy to get into this. I can't believe more people aren't doing it, but right now, as far as I know, myself, and Jimmy Roberts, and Alexander Leah are the only people I'm aware of that are doing X3D. So, man, jump on board. The more eyes, the better. And I don't care who gets the credit, as long as you don't steal my intellectual property. You see, let me clear up something, because this comes up all the time. You can't copyright those images. They're taxpayer funded and they're public images. Yep, that's correct. But when you download them, process them, extract them first, process them, add your own compositing, do all the things that you do, they then become your intellectual material. And they are then copyrightable. And it's considered very bad form to steal anybody's intellectual property. And there are many of us here who will pursue every legal recourse we will to catch up with people. And, oh, look, Julia's on board from sarahmichelle.org. If you guys haven't checked that out, and gals too, you need to have a look. First of all, for us guys, tons of beautiful women, of which Julia is one, delightful young lady, and lots of fashion tips for the ladies and interesting articles. But then they have the unauthorized photography section, which features all kinds of great stuff. And of course, Jimmy and Chris Maroney and myself, we all have our pages there as well. We just got on board. We're looking forward to seeing and helping sarahmichelle.org grow into a premier news and Mars anomaly resource, fashion resource, and It's going to grow like crazy over the next year, so keep your eyes on it. It's going to be nice. Thank you for joining us, Julia. And yeah, and you're right, Alan. There are tons and tons of anomalies to go around. And folks, this is what I don't understand. People put up all this garbage, all this pareidolia garbage, all this blurry crap, and then they say, "Oh, look, it's a flying Martian, and it's a family of 6, or it's a lady pulling a wagon, or it's this, or it's that." And it's like, no, it's not. It resides in your mind, not in the image. The thing to do is find some good non-fractals, render them in 3D, and share them with other people. Now, you can certainly argue with many of the images that I've posted, but there are a whole bunch of them you can't argue with that are so clear and so obviously exhibiting intelligent agency that you just can't argue with it. So that's the course I'm on, and I'm hoping more people will join me and show people what is on the surface of Mars. And oh my gosh, with Perseverance landing, and with the United Arab Emirates rover landing, and China sending one, and India's got its orbiter, there's no telling what's going to come out in the next little while. And okay, let's see. You're welcome, Julia. Good old pareidolia, yeah. And I've done my share of it in the past when I was getting started, but like I shared on our accidental live feed last week, I went on to Google Mars to debunk this because of my experience with photo surveillance, aerial surveillance, archaeology, yada, yada, yada. And I thought, I'm going to put this thing to bed in 5 minutes. And within a couple minutes, I'd found archaeological ruins. And within half an hour, I'd found 4 or 5 more. They were undisputably archaeological ruins. So I had to put away what I thought I knew and start from scratch. And thus began my quest. And there was a very painful learning curve. And I posted a lot of garbage. And there's a lot of stuff that people didn't care much for. But I started doing a lot better. And if you go to the playlists on the channel, there are whole bunches of videos. The Dirty Dozen videos, which are 2D, and some X3D videos, several best of videos. So there's a lot to see. Let me, yeah, Kevin, I can't argue with. He says, I prefer images that leave me with no doubt. And like the ones I present, that's kind of you to say that. Thank you. I try to set the bar high. And sometimes I will gently chastise people online or privately offline, not wishing to be a curmudgeon or a negative person, but especially on the Facebook site, MarsX3D. I want to set the bar high. There are a lot of good and pretty good and a couple of really good Facebook sites for Mars anomalies. But I want ours to be different. I want to raise the bar and have like really top-notch stuff. At the same time, I do have to allow a certain amount of medium-notch stuff so I don't piss everybody off and have people getting angry at me. I already have 2 or 3 well-known anomaly researchers really upset with me because I corrected them gently and diplomatically, I thought, on some pareidolia issues that they were exhibiting. And I was backing it up with actual evidence, very clear evidence, and they didn't like it. So, persona non grata is my middle name. And let's see. Data files, remember and subscribe. Hey, yeah, by all means, if you get a chance, subscribe over there on Mars II Genesis, his channel on YouTube. Alan's a great guy. He's been helping me over the last months. 2 years ago, I went into Photoshop, not knowing anything about it. I knew Jack. And it's a pretty steep learning curve, but I just learned the things I had to learn to do what I needed to do, and it's been an ongoing process. And Alan has been a great help with some of the finer details, so thank you for that. And I'm getting so I'm reasonably conversant with Photoshop at this point. Certainly not an expert like Alan, who's spent 30 years plugging away at it. But hey, good morning. What is it? Frack Centurion. What a cool name. Now, is that the frack that comes from, what's the name? Of the show. There was a remake of the old show that had Lauren Green as the captain. I'm having a senior moment. They come more frequently. But their favorite curse of choice on that show was frack, which of course replaced the F-bomb. And they used it in some very clever ways. So I don't know if that's part of your name, Frack Centurion, or if because you're a oil worker or a supporter of fracking, it's all good. And the Delta Percy will be visiting there. Will be all sorts. Yeah. God bless Scotland. Indeed. Battlestar Galactica, thank you. Oh, it's so great when that hole in my head gets filled in. Battlestar Galactica. I watched that whole thing from beginning to end. And I thought it was a pretty good show. Some pretty good writing. Mostly pretty good acting. Good scoring. And those suckers drank like fish. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's what it was, all right. I watch almost no television anymore. I don't have time really. I've just a little inside baseball here in Dave's world. I've just undertaken a course about 5 weeks ago in Neo-Ericksonian Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is a very interesting conversational form of hypnosis. And I have practice partners all over the world who are studying the same course. It takes me about 2 years to complete, and I'm not planning to open a practice or be a stage hypnotist or anything like that. But I want it for better interpersonal communications within my family, and to be a better presenter on my channel, to do less stumbling, and to get my point across in a way that hopefully most people can understand. And in saying that, I'm not fishing for a compliment or anything like that, but it is a concern of mine. And so this has been very, very helpful. I've really been learning a lot, and I've just scratched the surface. I've got long ways to go yet, but it's really pretty cool. Let me bend down and read some more. Art Alien, Joe's been around a long time. And I like Joe. Joe has made some great discoveries. Sometimes his enthusiasm for what he perceives to be on the surface maybe goes beyond what mine consists of, but we're all different. We all have our own perspectives and opinions, and I have a lot of respect for Joe and what he's done to build an audience through his consistent presentations over many years. I'd like to think that in 4 or 5 years, if I'm still here or not in prison, that maybe the channel will grow to those levels. Maybe YouTube will shut me down. And that said, I have tried like crazy to get into Rumble and Gab and MeWe and a couple other platforms. And they're the most unfriendly, unuser-friendly, obtuse, non-working platforms I've ever encountered. It's very, very frustrating. But I can see the need for getting at least one, maybe 2 other platforms happening with this channel to not only build a different type of audience, but have a place to go if things go south here on YouTube. And hey, JR, the real Jimmy Roberts won. You've been sitting in the... No, sir, you haven't been sitting in the wrong room for 45 minutes. You have been, wherever you are is the right room. It's the centroid of your amazing universe. So glad to have you join me. Thank you, Jimmy. I'm honored by you being here. Let's see. Kevin is saying in Death on Mars, Dr. John Brandenburg speculates that the destruction of Mars happened about 250 million years ago. The relics seem too well preserved for that timeline. Do I have an opinion on this? Yes, I do. And bear in mind, this is only my opinion. I don't expect anyone to, take it on as their own. But here's what I think. 250 million years, he would know because he's conversant with the isotope decay rates. As I recall, and correct me, Jimmy, if I'm wrong, it's xenon 129 and krypton 80, which apparently are only formed through nuclear fusion. I think they can be formed naturally, but only in a remarkable circumstance. The percentage is so low that, it's a pretty darn clear indicator of nuclear fusion. And so 250 million years, you'd think, yeah, everything would be just worn down to dust. But bear in mind a couple of things. While I truly believe that Mars' atmosphere is breathable by humans in certain areas at certain seasons of the year, once you've acclimated, the atmosphere is very thin. And while they have gigantic planet-wide dust and sandstorms, that sand and dust isn't eroding like it would here on Earth. We think of the blowing sand if you've ever been out in the desert when a sandstorm came, and it's like trying to press your face into a bench grinder. I mean, it's not fun at all. But on Mars, the atmosphere is so thin that a 200-mile-an-hour wind really doesn't amount to much. What you do see on a lot of rocks is dust polishing, very fine polishing. Don't mistake that for vitrification. Vitrification has a very different look, which is very glassy, very shiny, but a lot of dust polishing. So I'm inclined to think that Dr. John talking about. That said, I believe it could have happened within the last 50,000 years. If my speculation about there being an interchange between Mars and Earth in terms of colonies and that type of thing is correct. So, let's see what else we got here. And my other link is live? Jimmy, am I appearing on that link? I had deleted it. I went live for about 15 seconds, and I went, oh my gosh, it's actually on the channel. And I went out and deleted it and waited till 6:30. So my bad, Jimmy, I'm sorry, and the others for the confusion. I'm just learning. This is my first one. And I'm slow. You saved me, says Jimmy to Julia. Yeah, you're not the slowest guy I know, Jimmy, not by a long shot. And doing battle with Bruce on YouTube. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, there won't be confusion next week. I've
Alert from Google Chrome.
Oh, shut up,
Conservative
Google Chrome.
Twins.
I hate that thing. I can't shut it off. I go into settings and I shut it off and it keeps talking at me. Anyway, I'd like to do this every Tuesday night at 6:30. And we have been on a while now, and I don't want to wear everybody out. Well, actually, we've only been on about a half hour. That's not too bad. So let's see what else we got. And the link still works. Well, Jimmy, am I appearing on that second link? Are you getting sound, music, and talk, and image? I mean, that won't happen next week. I'll be glad to get this mostly figured that whole thing. So, Jimmy, let me ask you something. When are you going to help me figure out? I mean, okay, can you use Zoom on YouTube Live? Can I have two screens? And I know you worked for a long, long time to set up your beautiful studio, virtual studio. And I don't really need to do that, but I'd love to be able to have a split screen and talk to some people. I don't know how to do that. So maybe you can hit me. And, oh no, I'm not, I'm not leaving just yet. I'm planning to stay on here in, maybe about an hour. Reason being is that as much as I love the guys I'm affiliated with, I really don't have time to do a 3-hour, a 4-hour live hang and watch it. My production schedule, and I'm not whining about it, I'm doing what I love, and I'm passionate about it, and it's time I'm willingly spend. But it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for recreational viewing, so to speak. So I'd like to keep the live hangs at hour or less, 45 minutes. And so it's at least possibly watchable by other people. Meanwhile, it's so nice that you guys have showed up. Thank you so much. I am so amazed that you all, I'm assuming you all have learned X3D and can do it. Thanks to Jimmy Roberts for his wonderful tutorial video and for other resources that you guys have used that I always link to in the videos. But there's so many of you who get it now and are turning your monitors into a giant ViewMaster. And I think a lot of you are finding as well that it's getting easier and easier and more relaxed and more natural. Is it not? You do 3D viewing every day, all day long. X3D is just the next step in human evolution, if you believe in evolution. It's a superpower that only a small percentage of people have, most of them in the technical industries, medical, engineering, design, that type of thing, science. They do it all day long, every day, working on their projects. So let's see. Pohoy guy. Thank you, Michael. He corrected my pronunciation, which I should have checked. I call it Pohoho or some ridiculous thing, and Mike jumped out and said, "No, it's Pohoy." And so, yeah, man, thank you very much for setting me straight on that. And let me see what we're going to do. I'm not going, you're going. Oh, that's so nice, Julia. You're doing fabulous. Don't worry about it. No, the link is live, but you are here. It's a dead mic. And yeah, it would be a dead mic over there because I decided to use the lapel mic, which doesn't have as nice a sound as a Blue Snowball, but it's a little easier to work with. I can move around and just talk. So anyway, so that's the news in Lake Wobegon. What else is going on? My gosh, I'm just so anxious to see the first feeds from Perseverance. I've forgotten the date that it's landing. Maybe one of the really hip tech guys like Jimmy could tell me when's it landing? February 21st? Something like that. And, you know, they're going to do the same old thing, aren't they? They're going to selectively download or publish pictures that have been crapped out with low-res JPEG, and they're not going to show us really good stuff. It's very cool that they have that drone on board. I can't help wondering how long that's going to last in a sandy environment and what's going to happen the first time its batteries give out too far away. But who knows? You know, that could be really amazing. Are they going to show us those videos? Maybe the redacted ones, maybe the ones that they've gone in and touched up, or the ones that don't reveal anything too clear, because that's the thing, you know, like when I fly, when you're looking down, you can see all kinds of things that aren't visible at ground level, particularly archaeological structures. I remember being amazed one time when I was skydiving. I jumped out of the plane at 3,000 feet, and I popped the chute. This is when I was training, and in Florida, and I was amazed by a couple of things. First of all, I could clearly see oranges lying in the grass under the orange trees, and from 3,000 feet. I mean, come on, half a mile. That's amazing. And also, did you know that sound propagates upwards? I mean, and that was another amazing thing. As I'm floating down and steering my chute, I could hear people conversing on the ground. That blew my mind. So who knows who's listening to us, huh? Well, Mars the second gen, are you doing any X3D tutorials? Let me steer you. I mean, go to the link, man, under each of my videos. Jimmy has a spectacular X3D tutorial video. One of the best I've ever seen. And you can learn it in a minute. There's also linked an image, so you can learn the finger method, which most people find is the easiest way to go. But Jimmy's X3D video tutorial, you can't do any better than that. Just go to the link, you know, where it says "See More" under the video. There's all kinds of goodies in there, folks. Click on it and go see. All the links to the images are in there. You can go look for them, look at them yourself, see what they look like. You can see that I haven't changed anything or falsified anything. What I do is I brighten things up. I adjust the contrast a little. I increase the pixel count so things are clearer, and as opposed to being real pixelated. But I don't do anything to change what's there. I adhere to the principle of pixel integrity. I only work with what is there in the pixels, and I don't change anything to make it look like what I wish it would look like, or what my biases, as they may be, what they may be. I don't do any changing. There are channels out there like Paranormal Crucible and Third Phase of Moon that are just blatant hucksters with Photoshop, and they do it solely to get clicks. It's clickbait, and people think, oh my gosh, this is a real thing, and not really, not so much. And says, Dave, I'm gonna holler at you about something we should consider doing a collaborative live show on as early as this weekend, if you're around. Chris as well. Well, you know I'd love to do that, Jimmy, anytime. I do have appointments scheduled this weekend with various practice partners, but I'm sure we can squeeze it in. I'm sure we can. We'll make it work. I'd love to do that. I'm always honored to appear with you guys. You guys are both so knowledgeable about not only the anomalies and the processing in the video stuff, but the overall Mars programs, the Mars Science Laboratories, the missions. And me, I'm a real right-brained guy most of the time, being a musician. I go for the heart of the watermelon. I want the anomalies, I want them clear, and I want to show them to you. And if I don't know the answers to everything, I don't care, because there are other people that do, like you guys, because I want the sweet spot. And so that's why I'm turning this stuff out. One a week. I started out doing 2 a week because I had such a backlog of anomalies that I hadn't presented. But once you start searching for them yourself again, and which I do anyway, and sharing stuff from other researchers, it's a lot of work, you know, it's a lot of doing. So, how to use Stereo Photo Maker? Good question. Alan, Stereo Photo Maker is super easy to use. I could see about recording my screen and doing a tutorial on that, but it has all these icons at the top, and it's really very, very easy to use. I mean, if you spend a short afternoon with it, you'll be turning out anaglyphs, X3D, parallel, universal LRL, which is 3 images, left, right, left. So you have both parallel and X3D in one image. Problem is the images are too small, I think. And, you know, I'm happy to help you if I can, and we may do that. Hello, Earl. Thanks for showing up, man. I sure appreciate you all showing up. Yeah, we'll work around a busy schedule. Well, you have a busy schedule too, man. First of all, you're married to an Olympian goddess, and so I can see where there are certain responsibilities that accrue to that relationship, which are understood, and of course you have kids and stepkids and relations and cousins and all of that good stuff. So, family first, my friend, always and forever. And well, let's see. Yeah, Frack, you haven't explained yourself yet, man. What's your first name all about, buddy? Frack. And let's see. Hey, Gold Heart, thanks for showing up. Oh, guy, in Berlin, you got to be GMT plus 1 or 2, right? So you're like past midnight over there. I'm very honored that you would stay up late and show up. I'm going to try to put you asleep. What I'm going to try to do is, well, go ahead and close your eyes. And as you just relax in your chair, eyes closed now, you can feel a deep sense of relaxation every time you breathe out. And as you feel your feet on the floor and as you feel the feeling in your hands, maybe one is warmer than the other, it allows you to discover even deeper levels of relaxation. Now. Okay, I'm stopping now. I'm coming back. We're not going to do any more of that online. Ich liebe Berlin. Ah, yes. Wasn't it John Kennedy that said, Ich liebe Berliner? Or something to the effect. He meant to say, I am a Berliner. But what he said is, I am a pastry, if I understand that correctly. Oh, man. You know, it's so much fun having people from all over the world looking at the channel, offering great comments, and giving me all kinds of input. You know, I do get a lot of material via email, and I have to apologize because I really can't use all of it. I try to. When I find something really good, I do dive into it. But, you know, it takes me sometimes weeks, sometimes a couple months to catch up with what you've sent me. So don't give up. And if your stuff isn't used, don't be offended. I love what you send me, and I'm honored that you sent it to me. So by all means, continue to do so. And I'll give you a platform anytime there's something that is worthy of MarsX3D. Oh, man. Yeah, Goldheart, you're a fine fella for staying up so late. But anyway, so I guess it's going okay for the very first one, except for the fake live feed in the wrong place, which I had deleted, but apparently still showed up. I won't make that mistake next week. We'll be here again at 6:30 next Tuesday night. And so at this point, and I know that you are asking questions, but I'm just wondering, you know, what other questions you might have for me. And it can be really on any topic. It doesn't have to be Mars. I have a lot of opinions about a lot of different things. And I have been a lot of things in my life. I've always lived 2 to 3 parallel lives simultaneously. And Oh, hi. That's 43 Pigtail. Love you and great show. Granny in Florida. Well, God bless you, sister. And if you're a granny, you're probably my age, but I'm a married man, so I ain't messing around. But I'm sure glad that you're with us, and thank you for your kind words. I was called by my buddies in the music world, which always have, they like to tease about certain things, but they always called me an experience queen. Now, I'm not gay, but I've worked with gay people all my life, and I have some great friends who are gays, and, I love them, so don't think that I'm being a jerk or anything, but they call me an experience queen because I was always going to my other jobs, doing weird things. So that's part of the package. Well, we must go on early in day to catch most of the Northern Europeans and UK folk. Yeah, I agree with that. As for the Aussies, I'm still trying to figure that one out. I've been trying to figure out Aussies all my life. What a cool bunch of people. I love them. And I hope sometime before I cack to visit Australia and Tasmania and New Zealand. It's kind of one of my things that remain on my bucket list. And I really would like to go, but I hate flying commercially anymore. Boy, does that suck. But it'd be worth it, I suppose, if I could get over there. And you've been with me since you started 3D, Granny. 43 Pigtail. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. I appreciate that. I really do. And Julie says, your English fabulous. Well, it's my first language. Yeah, Goathart. She's referring to Goathart. Yeah, man, especially all our overseas folks. They speak 3, 4, 5 languages. Come on. And most of them speak English extremely well. I'm always impressed because, like with Julia, she speaks Italian and French and English. And I told her the other day if I was over in Italy, I wouldn't have a clue what to say except maybe food and bathroom and bus. That's about all I'd figure out how to say. 11:20 a.m. Wednesday. Frack Centurion. Holy moly. Where are you, Frack? Are you in Australia? Did I miss a post there? Are you in Australia? I'm starting to lose my voice here. I'm not accustomed to talking this long unless I'm trying to get out of a problem with my wife. I'm just kidding. We get along so great it's sick. A lot of you don't know. I'll tell you a true thing here. I was a committed hermit. Herman's Hermits. That's what I'm thinking. Now it dates me, doesn't it? I was a committed hermit for 10 years. Totally alone and loving it. And doing anything I wanted, anytime I wanted. And it was a great life. Still worked real hard, but it was a great life. And I had no plans to change. But along came my first wife from 50 years ago. And it turned out that we had, over the last half century, turned into the kind of people that we could get along with. And so we were married 2 years ago. And it's fantastic. We really, really get along and understand each other in ways that I didn't think was possible. But you have to understand it would take something like that to draw me out of my hermitage. I was a grizzly bear with a sore tooth way back in the cave, and I wasn't coming up for anybody unless it was to kill him. So kudos to her for dragging me out of the cave. But Australia, Frack. God bless you, mate. Good day. Wow, that is so cool. And yes, the Italian is an awesome piece of architecture. You guys are so well traveled. I traveled a good bit in my career overseas, and one of the more exciting trips I took was I traveled for 25 years with a really funky band called the Black Dogs. We were the first jazz band in the mainland China when the bamboo curtain dropped. We did a 40-city tour over there. And man, was that an experience. But the running joke, I think I might have mentioned it, in the band, the whole time we were there, is we couldn't wait to get back to America so we'd have some good Chinese food. But, let's see what else we got coming up here. 17 hours. Wow. Wow. 17 hours ahead in Australia. And, Dave, what do you expect from the new rover? Better photos, more defined evidence? Well, Goad, yeah, we're all hoping for that. But is NASA's policies going to change about sharing the material without redaction, without things being blurred, copy-pasted, simply not downloaded? Now, I think we all know that being a project like that, they're probably going over there and taking high-res images of all the anomalies, or many of them, that we're finding, and those are classified, and those are not going to be seen by us anytime soon. I remember years ago we were looking at a video at NASA where they were downloading things from Mars, and we saw in a background in the monitor that the sky was blue. Well, up until that time and a little later, they always put that pukey red dust cover over every single image, when in fact the sky was blue the entire time, unless there was a dust storm, of course. And they very gradually started allowing pictures through that showed that Mars had a blue sky. And now, very gradually, over the last, I'd say, year and a half, since they did that Colonel David Fravor release on Fox News with Tucker of the Tic Tac UFO, that, folks, was official disclosure. Most don't realize that. And now there are 3 videos that are officially from the government saying, we don't know what these are. And so yeah, disclosure is starting it, but it's slow, and they're starting to show or allow more things to creep through the AI barrier that wipes out non-fractals and the humans that it kicks out to, who finish the job often very crudely. So we're starting to see some more things, especially in the 3000 series coming up. But I'm very hopeful that we'll have better resolution images. Jimmy, you have no accent. Okay, brother, we'll leave it right there, won't we? And let's see, I'm trying to read these things with my old wore out eyes. Well, we don't get the raw images, you're right. But Jimmy, you need to check out Alan's channel, Mars: A Second Genesis. He's an expert in Photoshop. He just posted a tutorial video on how to process the IMG, I believe it is, images. I haven't given it my due diligence yet, Alan, but I promise you I will. And he's planning to do one on the raw data, which means we can download them ourselves from the Analyst Notebook and process them ourselves with no intervention. All you have to do is do an account on Analyst Notebook. And a little tip, they want you to put it in a cart and pay for it, and you can do that if you want to support your taxpayer-funded agency. But you can just take screen captures of the images, and they're just as good. And you can work with those. So, wouldn't it be something if they stopped obfuscating everything? And Julia's right. When the government stops lying, we all get a free Lexus. Boy, you know what? I'm not going to open that can of worms tonight. Not going to do it. And you know what? I really don't ever want to talk politics or religion on this channel. Sometimes I'll make teasing remarks. But that's a guaranteed way to upset people, lose people, just rub people the wrong way. And that's not what we're about. We need to come together as a human family and set our differences aside. Because, folks, we're a level 0 civilization. The aliens that are out there, and I believe they are, view us as just barely past the primitive stage. And we won't be a level 1 civilization until we A, survive destroying ourselves with nuclear or other weapons of mass destruction, and B, this is important, surviving a global AI internet. You need to stop and think what that means. You know, a certain alphabet agency has a 50-acre complex in Utah. 50 acres of quantum computers. Now, they just recently ran a problem through there, a virtually unsolvable physics problem, quantum physics problem, that on the best supercomputers of today would take all of the supercomputers working together over 2 billion with a B years to reach a conclusion. These quantum computers did it in less than 10 minutes. So that gives you an idea of what we're working with. In the meantime, the quantum physicists at CERN, at the Large Hadron Collider, are working day and night to puncture the dimensional shields that are there naturally built in, which they have already done. And I have a sneaking suspicion that that's where at least some of the so-called Mandela effect comes from, that we've skipped over into parallel timelines. I know it's happened to me. I have all kinds of things. As a matter of fact, my wife and I compare memories from 50 years ago. She lived an entirely different life than I did, a different timeline. And I hopped over, I think, onto her timeline. And yeah, I know 50 years is a long time and you forget stuff. But really, I mean, a life shared with someone you're so close and intimate with, and you have really opposite memories of events, things that happened. So anyway, I think our reality is being affected. Let's read some more. Let's see. Yeah, indeed, frack. There is a blue atmosphere on Mars. And they always try to color it when they publish an image, but it's, yeah, just like Earth, big old blue atmosphere, and breathable in certain areas. And, you know, one of these days I'm going to do a video on Joseph Skipper, the anomalist emeritus, doing it all way before any of us got into it. This man was amazing. He's gone home to the Lord now. His website, just Google Joseph Skipper. His website will keep you busy for weeks. The things that he's found. Lakes and forests and buildings and structures and all kinds of amazing things. And he does go on. He'll write a 3 or 4 page article on each image. But it's worth reading. It takes a commitment and time. But that man, if he was alive today, I would find some way to honor him. He was that good and that important to what we attempt to do today. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I get it. My channel will probably always be really small because it's a niche within a niche. It's X3D. Only a select elite few choose to learn how to do that and can do it and do view the videos. But 20, 30 years from now, after I'm taking a dirt nap, there's going to be a body of evidence documented that people can look at and maybe say the same thing. Hey, he knew what he was talking about. This is genuine evidence. And he documented it all before we put boots on the ground. Now, personally, I think we have boots on the ground, but we're not going to go into that tonight because our time's almost up. So I'm going to read some more of this stuff. As far as there being, you know, people are thinking disclosure is going to be a giant eureka moment. And who knows, it may well be at some point. But it's a dribble at a time. It's a Chinese water torture. A little bit here, a little bit there. Stop and think for a moment. Do you think that the people on Tucker Carlson just said, hey, let's do a video on UFOs and we'll call NASA, or rather the Navy, and ask them if they have any video? No! That stuff gets cleared at the highest levels. And someone at the highest level contacted Fox and said, we want to do this on Tucker Carlson because of your ratings. It's the highest exposure. And we're going to give you an actual video of something we have identified is not from Earth. So that's disclosure, folks. And they're doing it a little bit at a time. So just keep your eyes peeled. Look at a lot of different news sources. You'll see more. And of course, Julia is covering a lot of this too at sarahmichelle.org. Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy, you're right. I think a good percentage is fake. I don't know if I'm on the same side of the table with you as far as it being 85-90%. I processed something today that's going into the video Friday morning of another mailbox, what I call mailboxes. They're not mailboxes, but they look like a mailbox. They have the shape. And man, everything in that image, and you'll see, is a genuine anomaly. I mean, every single thing. And I could have done an entire video on that section of the image alone. That's how many anomalies there are. But let's see. Read a little bit here. Yeah, you know, Godard, I think they do leave anomalies on purpose. I think it's part of A, slow disclosure, and B, employees within the matrix who are saying, you know, foot on this whole secrecy thing. I'm not going to touch up this thing. I'm going to let it slide. And you'll notice, and I've told you this before, look at the horizons in many of these images. That's where you're going to find anomalies that they have allowed to slip through. And that's where you're going to find a lot of stuff that's really pretty amazing. Okay, let's read some more. Yeah, planetary protector. I know there are a lot of people that are hugely affected by the Mandela effect. And even giving the reasonable percentage of people who are just misremembering stuff, there's still enough of a percentage there to indicate there's a real anomaly underlying this entire Mandela effect. So I think we need to be aware of that. And hey, Dave, looks like you got the bugs worked out. Yeah, trumped up. I sure did, by golly. And I accidentally went online for a few seconds this evening. And when I realized that, I went into YouTube and I deleted the live hang, the accidental one. But apparently it still stayed up. And so when I went live, it put a window with a dead mic up and it fooled a couple people. That won't happen anymore. I won't make that mistake again. So thank you for hanging in there. And she says, Julia said, my left eye is slightly out of sync with my right, so 3D doesn't work for movies. Your work, nothing. Well, Julia, have faith. I've invested in the Fund Me page for Looking Glass Technologies, which this is several months ago now. I should be receiving my first Looking Glass holographic unit probably in April at this point. And it's just the size of a portrait frame, but it's true holographic 3D, which you can take with your iPhone or really any picture. And they have large units, which are very expensive, which I may go ahead and get. And I can do well, you can see an entire presentation on there in flawless 3D with no glasses. And even if you have some eye problems, not a problem. You'll be able to see it. So there are other ways of viewing 3D with glasses, shutter glasses, other electric means, virtual reality goggles, lots of different things. But it requires you having equipment between you and the image. It requires, in some cases quite a substantial investment to get those that equipment, whatever it may be. And you're still only seeing little parallel images instead of the gigantic X3D that you can put on 2 billboards and see in 3D. So not a problem there. But Julia, I'm sorry to hear that, but I don't know if your left eye has a tracking problem or what the ophthalmological problem may be with it. But I would say if it's not uncomfortable for you, to keep trying and change the distance between your face and the monitor. Usually further away, but maybe in this case a little closer. There's a sweet spot in there where your eyes are going to work together just fine. My first question to you, Julia, would be, do you see 3D easily in your normal waking state? Do you have any problem with your left eye in your normal waking state? Because you're seeing 3D just fine, probably. If not, if there's an eye pathology, okay, I understand that, I get that. But if you're seeing 3D normally, in your normal vision, you should be able to do the X3D with a little messing around, trying to find that sweet spot. And let's see. Yeah, as far as the looking glass technology, the primary reason that I'm getting it is an eye to the future for 2 reasons. One is that when they make a large enough display model, say I think they already have one that's 18 inches, maybe 27. When I go on the road with the show and start doing my live presentations, it'll be like IMAX. You'll get polarized glasses. I'll have twin projectors, and it'll be a live presentation of some real hard-hitting stuff. It won't be X3D. It'll be like IMAX when you go to the IMAX. But for my concessions table, and I'm really into concessions, it's going to be a large display that it will be showing probably, various DVDs that I will produce of different things that passers-by will be able to just see it in full holographic 3D. And by holographic, I mean you can see around behind the objects. How about that? But what's very cool about their technology is they make superb depth maps with their software. It's proprietary software. And I've gotten pretty good at depth maps over the last year and a half, going on 2 years. Oh man, what an uphill struggle that's been. And it continues to be a learning curve. But I'm getting, I think, pretty proficient at it. Maybe more so than other people who use it for just real simple 3D images. But their software leaves me in the dirt. I mean, the depth maps they're making with their software are gorgeous. And so if I can use that software to create depth maps for my stereo images, or even for my 2D images for the channel, the 3D is going to take a quantum leap forward. It's pretty good now. I think most people are not at the level of X3D viewing that I am, doing it all my life. But with this experience I have, I can look at pictures and I try and make them just as clean and accurate and from a parallax standpoint as I can. But there are always still some little things that snag a little bit that, it's one of those things where, am I going to obsess over this and go for 100%, or am I going to do 95% and get this sucker published before deadline? That's where I'm at on that. Okay. Let me see. Hi, Doug. Doug Watkins showed up. Yeah, good suggestion, Doug. Move left, move a little right till it clears up. and that helped me. The thing I can't stress enough is that, well, the distance between you and the monitor. And a lot of people try to cross their eyes too hard. They think you're really going ballistic with crossing your eyes and that it hurts. No, no, no. It's very gentle, almost unnoticeable. And there's that sweet spot. Okay, let me explain it real quick. You know, if you have a board, no, let me use a bat. Let me use the bat analogy. There's a sweet spot on a bat. You guys, most of you will know, some of you gals too. There's a sweet spot that when you hit the ball, it goes 10 miles, okay, because of that sweet spot. That's what you're looking for. There's a sweet spot. Your eyes make, when they're looking out, they make a V. That's your parallax when they focus on something. And the lines of parallax will change and things will fall on that V, on those lines of parallax. That's why you want to look to the horizon when you're learning this, so that your parallax lines are set way out there. And then as that picture, as you perceive those three images, the one in the center, you just relax into that. And your eyes will click into that window. And there you have it. And like I say, once you got it, you got it. You won't ever have another problem. So, let's see. Okay, well folks, it's time to wrap it up. I have to go turn into a husband and a responsible citizen of Gotham. So we're going to wrap it up in about 2 minutes. I'd love to sit online with you and talk all night, but I don't want to wear out my welcome. We're going to do this again next Tuesday night at 6:30 Eastern Time. And I'm open to other times, but that happens to be a time that works pretty good for me with my schedule. And yeah, Trump does the setting. He sits in a darkened room, and yeah, that can help. So anyway, listen, we're going to call it a night. God bless each and every one of you for stopping by. You mean so much to me that you take the time to watch the channel, and particularly to show up at these live hangs. I'm actually personally touched and warmed by that. So thank you very much. I love you guys. And video coming up Friday morning, early in the morning. And yeah, Jesus is my King. Thanks for the stream, Dave. Have a good evening, sir. And you as well. Signing off in 3, 2, and 1. Bye for now.